All right, guys, let's talk about strategic placement because if we're going to do this whole thing, which you're going to do, right? Everyone wants to build up, they want to grow. In order to grow quickly for rank, there has to be strategic placement, okay? Otherwise, it's very, very difficult. Now, it doesn't mean you can't grow. There are benefits. There's like pros and cons to strategic placement, okay? When you build and enroll people and have a good solid front line and then allow it to trickle down, it takes a lot longer to hit certain ranks and such, but you have a much more stable, strong organization. You also ultimately in the end will get paid more, but it could take you 20 years to get paid more. So I think there's a benefit to doing a little bit of both. You want to gain traction, right, and gain momentum and use it to build up to rank. But then you also want to be thinking long-term strategy where you're going to start building out, further out too. So I'm going to share my screen and show you a graphic. We have all these graphics, and I'm doing this because I want you to see where we have our training stuff also. So let me share my screen here, right here. I hope I did the right one. Okay. Okay, you all see this right here? Yes? Okay. So right here, this is in our Facebook group. This is under the album and go into the photos in the abundance group and then under one of the albums. I don't know. You'll see a whole bunch of pictures like this. Okay. And this right here is just explaining what you need for every rank. So the top rank in Young Living is called Royal Crown Diamond. And in order to get Royal Crown Diamond, so we're going to work from here back just so you understand why I'm talking strategic placement. Okay, so in order to get Royal Crown Diamond, you have to have 6 legs. You see that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 6 building legs at 35,000, and then you'd need 1 point. I don't want you to be afraid of this because I'm just trying to explain it to you. Okay, so you need 1.5 million in organizational volume. Look at that medium income, though, right? Isn't that awesome? Anybody want that? So right off the bat, you have to realize that in order to hit the top of the company to get through everything, you must have 6 growing legs. So you want to be thinking in terms of that ultimate strategy. Now for diamond, because we're talking just diamond, you need 5. All right. But you don't want to wait until you just do 5. And then all of a sudden you're like, oh my gosh, now I have to do my 6. I would suggest doing 2 or 3 at a time. So build 2 or 3 legs. Listen, if you have 4 or 5 legs come along that want to build, great. But you want to build what you have. If you're only starting with 1 or if you're only starting with you, then build what you have. But immediately you have to start thinking strategically because this is what it takes to go up in the ranks in Young Living. Now, let me come out of this. I don't know why. Oh, here we go. Okay, let me get to diamond, crown, diamond, star, silver. Okay, so you see here in silver that you need to have 2 legs. So you could be thinking in terms of that, 2, 2, and 2. When you get to gold, you have to have 3 legs. Unfortunately, these are not in order. So you see here, 3 legs, and then and platinum is 4 legs, and diamond is 5 legs, and crown diamond and royal crown diamond are 6 legs. So no matter what, ultimately, you have to build at least 6 legs. I'm building more than that. But I'm also I'm already diamond. I have a very stable structure. I'm already set up for crown diamond and royal crown diamond. So now I'm thinking in terms of building out other legs as well and really having, more growth that way. You get paid the most amount you get paid, or to really optimize the compensation plan, I should say, to really optimize it, you want to have as much volume in your first 5 levels as possible. So I'm going to show you what that means now. Okay, and I'm going to jump back and forth so you can see what I'm doing here. I'm going to go over to my oily tools. Okay, so what does that mean? Now, you guys can see the screen, okay? In your uni level, right here, you see this? Out of my total volume right now my volume is going to be at 582,000. I'm at 560 with the rest of the ER. I'm at 582. I'm pacing now at over 633. Okay. Of that, I get paid the most of volume that goes in my first 5 levels because you get paid 85444, right? And then when you hit silver, it goes up another 2.5% for each one. Or 3%, I think 2.5%, and then you get paid generations at 3%, which means that if a silver falls outside my 5th level, I get 3% on their entire organization. If they fell within it, the least amount I would get is 6.5%. You see what I'm saying? So there's a huge benefit to having a lot of people within your first 5 levels. So here, of my volume, that's right now 560,000, 147, just over 147 falls within those first. So I'm maximizing just 147,000 of it. So my goal then in my thinking is I want to have as much in my first 5 levels as possible. And that's what I'm going to be working towards, is building up the people that are closest to me. Now, you always build wherever people are and you support wherever they are. But again, I want you to start to think strategically about it. Now, in terms of placement, okay, you have enroller and you have sponsor. The enroller is, you would be the enroller when you're enrolling someone, and the enroller gets the bonuses. So that first 3 months where you get to $50 for everyone who gets a premium kit, and then 25% for the first 3 months of all their orders, that goes to the enroller. The sponsor is who the person is placed under. So this is where the placement comes in, okay? So you could be the enroller and sponsor, and that means you will see right in your first level, you will see whoever it is you enrolled, okay? Or you could be the enroller and make somebody else the sponsor. So say you really needed to build up, I'll go back to the Royal Crown Diamond one, okay? Say you really needed to build up this leg right here. You would place somebody, you would be the enroller, and you would place somebody in this leg. Now, the benefit to that is it starts to like add a fire. You put the fire below, right? It starts to add a fire to these legs. Now, there's conditions to strategic placement. I would never place somebody, because I always strategically place now. I don't need any more frontline people. I'm building up other legs. I always place somebody with a leader or someone who's willing to train as a leader, always. Otherwise, it's just more work for you, right? So don't just place somebody for the sake of placing them. You have to be on at least 100 PV auto ship. If you're on more than that consistently, you're way more likely to get somebody from me when I'm working with certain groups, right? So it has to be at least 100 PV in their auto, and they have to be in Essential Rewards. So do not place anybody who's not doing those conditions. And somebody who really is interested in exposing you or helping expose you to their network as well and growing. If you could find partners in this along the way, it's a lot easier to grow this, and it grows more quickly because you gain momentum that way. And then you teach the same thing to that person. You need to have this many legs. There are some Royal Crown Diamonds in Young Living that literally only have 6 legs. That's it. They have nothing else outside of that. They only have 6 legs. Now, again, there's pros and cons to it. Believe it or not, even though their checks are outstanding, and some of them are making a couple $1 million a year or more, the problem is if Young Living ever changes their compensation plan, which they have done, and they haven't done it in a while, thank God, but they have done it. The wider you are, the more stable you are at all times. Or what if a leg were to fall apart, right? So I told you guys yesterday that I'm set up, and I built wide enough and with enough legs and leadership that if my largest leg, which the volume in that leg alone qualifies me for diamond, but my largest leg, if that entire leg were to fall apart for some really bizarre whatever, who knows, if anything ever happens to that, I am still diamond just by all my other stuff. Okay, so I built for stability because I've been with the company long enough that I have been through several compensation plan changes. So I knew then that I wanted to build for stability. So we have a very stable organization. Now I'm and I've been for the last couple of years, being even more strategic about where I'm putting people, okay? So you want to think in terms of, ultimately you need those 6 legs. If you're only working with one now, fine. You just start to think ahead. All right, you're going to need a second one. You're going to need a third one. You're going to need a fourth. Start to put personalities together, people who you think would work well together. Because you don't want to have everything be on you. You want people working well with other people, right? So when you place somebody, you want to think, okay, this person's going to work well with they're going to work well together. They're going to do something. I'm going to help them team up. So again, that's part of the strategy. It's not just placing for the sake of volume. It's placing for strategy so that you could build your business more effectively and more efficiently, and it doesn't tie you down. Do you want to have a business that ties you down? Aren't we doing this for freedom, right? You don't want to have something that ties you down. So that's why I'm saying that really think strategically and have the conversation with people. When you're speaking to somebody, like I spoke to someone today who I'm going to be enrolling, And I said, what is your thought on business? Like I'm kind of interviewing him, I'm assessing, what is your thought? On building? What are you going to contribute? Because that's going to decide where I'm putting you, And once I got clear on that, then I'm like, okay, great. Now I know where you want me to go. This is going to be great. It's going to be a win-win. But I have the conversation right off the bat. When you have someone coming in who's just like, yeah, I'd like to try some product, or I'm really interested in the oils. What do you have there? Don't be afraid to say to them, look, I'm not going to go jump right down your throat to have a business conversation, but I do want you to know there's another opportunity here. And if you were interested either now or in the future for building up some sort of income that maybe could help pay for your product, or could, ultimately create a lifestyle for you, if that was something you're interested in, I'd like to be able to strategically place you. Now, I always speak to the people that I'm putting somewhere. I always tell them they're going to be placed. Because if you did it and it was just a surprise to them, they're going to feel like, okay, they're just, she's just using me to build herself up, and it's not really about me. So I make sure they know I am placing you. These are the reasons why I'm placing you, and you still have access to me. I am your enroller. I am still responsible for you, and you still have access to me. But I want to help this person just like I want to help you. Do you also want to be helped in this way? You see what I'm saying? So that's how I bring it up to them. And I place everyone. So I have this conversation all the time because at this point, I place everyone, and I have for the last couple of years. Now, let's just say somebody came into your organization, you did not place them. And then you're thinking back to, okay, I really want to place them. Let me tell you what the rules are for this, okay? You have 5 days to call into Young Living and say, I want this person moved. So 5 days after someone enrolls, you are able to move them. You have 20 days to send an email, and that'll be moved. So 5 days you could do it by phone, 20 days you could do it by email. After that, it goes into the regular thing. It has to be 3 upline signatures, $35. It becomes a bigger pain in the butt to do that, okay? You don't look at your organization now and say, I want to move all these people because that'll get me to rank. That's not how you build. How you build now is to look at your business like you are a businesswoman or you are a businessman and say, okay, I'm seeing what needs to be done here, which is this. What am I on right now? Let me get back to what I was talking about before. So you could see that screen again. Okay. So can you see the screen now? Yeah. Okay. So you see how you need to have those 6 legs. So you're going in saying, okay, I know ultimately I need to have 6 legs. In the beginning, I need to have 2 legs, and then I need to have 3 legs, and then I need 4, then 5, and then 6. But ultimately I need 6 legs. So this is how you're going to be, how you want to constantly be visualizing it for yourself. And when you're thinking strategically, know where you want to place people to make sure that you have those 6 legs. Does that make sense to you? You get to silver. Let's go over median income. And this is not average income. This is median income, okay? So when you get to, okay, just even for executive, okay, the median income is $463 a month. I know executives that make $2,000 a month, okay? But the median income is $463 a month. That alone pays for somebody's product, right? That's going to pay, and then some. It's going to pay for their product. So when you're working with people, it's not about what you're going to gain. It's not going to say, well, I need to get to executive, so I need these 2 legs. You're going to work with people and have the conversation of, I want to get you to this. What is your goal? And how I do that is I take the income disclosure statement, and there's a column for median income. Let me see if, I don't know if I could show you the income disclosure statement. Let me see if I could just pull that up for you quickly here. I think I just put it in a different folder, of course. But what I do is take the income disclosure statement and I show them a certain column and I say, what would impact your family the most right now? What is it, or you or your family? What would be your goal? And I have them look at that income. So here we go. Okay, so I'm going to see if I can switch the screen over to this now, if it'll let me. Yeah. Okay, so you see here, I have them look at this right here, the median, not the average, but I have them, the median is the middle number. The average is if you were to take everything and divide it by how many people, okay? So I look at the median income and I say, and this is per month. So I say, of this, what would have the biggest impact on you and your family? What is going to be your goal? And let's just say, because some people cannot conceptualize $145,000 a month. Let's be real, right? They can't go there. They can't even see that as an option. Some will. Some will turn around and be like, I could do that. I didn't, like, show real numbers. You know what I showed to the person I was showing today? When he brought it up to me again, we were just kind of chit-chatting about it. And we have a little bit, you know, in the past, and I was kind of brushing it off with him. And he brought it up like, you know, I might be interested in this. And I said, great. I said, well, let me show you something. And I pulled out my Oily Tools and I showed them what my income is at right now. I showed him my stats page, right? Just so he get an idea. And he, do you know what his comment was? He looked at it and he goes, wait, so this is like real. Right? And it's funny because people don't have, they're like, wait. Now I did this. I want you to understand how my sister came about. My first check with Young Living that I did was $532, right? So I took that check, even so I'm not talking right now, he's seeing a lot of money, right? But $532 I took to my sister and I went, boom. She looked at that and was like, wait a second here. This is real? Okay, I want to do something with it. So don't think it has to look like tens of thousands of dollars. I did it with just a couple $100 and it had that impact with my sister. So again, here, I showed this right here because these, by the way, this income disclosure statement, this is accurate. This is Young Living. They survey us. They know what we make. Obviously, this is an accurate depiction of what we make. This is what they give to the government as an income disclosure statement, okay? So look at the median income here with them and do this for yourself. You know what used to sit on my wall at my desk? And I have it different now because I have other things that are sitting on my wall doing the same idea. But I took it there and I circled myself what I wanted. And I just had it in front of my face. So now let's just say, you know, listen, if they had an extra couple thousand right here at Silver, if they had an extra couple thousand a month, that would really make a big impact for them. And they could wrap their brain around a couple $1,000 a month, right? Great. So then you know that's Silver. So what are you going to teach them at that point? You're going to go right back to this because, again, we have the tools, okay? You're going to take them right back to here, and you're going to say, okay, so let me show you what it takes to get to Silver, wherever it is, right here. This is what it takes to get to Silver, okay? There you see your income. Here we're going to show you, you're going to need 2 legs to do that. You're going to have to do 10,000 in volume, and both those legs have to be at 4,000. Who do you think we could speak with who wants this same thing? We want to show them the same, everything I'm showing you right now, we want to show them the same thing. When they say, what are my steps? Okay, your steps are going to be, you need to get on Essential, you need to get your kit, you need to get on Essential Rewards, right? 100 PV Essential Rewards minimum. That is the minimum. You need to start buying into this lifestyle yourself. So 100 PV Essential Rewards, that's what you're going to do. Next thing you're going to do is you're going to get the Oily Tools app, you're going to get the game plan, and you're going to get Word Swag. And you're going to get into our Tri-Harmony Oilers Training Center. You see how we're setting them up right now? Okay, so what you need as tools, you need to copy this income disclosure statement, which is up in our group. It's up in the training center. I'll post it again if necessary so you could see it. Know that this right here, this is all up in the abundance group also. I think it might even be in the training center, but it's definitely in the abundance group in the photo albums, okay? So you pull this up and then they start to see you very succinctly having a plan, okay? This is how you're going to do it. This is how we're going to do it. That's what they need to hear. Don't you think that's what you need to hear? Getting back to basics again, like what is the plan? How are we going to talk to people? And I can't say this enough. If you are doing this diamond thing and gunning for diamond, as we say, if you're really doing this diamond thing, you have to get over your fear of rejection and fear of talking to people, fear of not being bold. You have to start getting bold. They will start taking you seriously. They're responding to your posture. I am telling you, that is what's happening. They are responding to your posture. So when you come back with a different type of posture, like with the guy I was talking to today, and he's fantastic and he's very into health, and we start talking about doing things for athletes and all that, but he'd love to see that I get a check. You know, does he need Young Living to do things for athletes? No, he's doing it anyway. So for me to sit there and just talk about the product doesn't make total sense, right? Because these are things he could do anyway. He doesn't need us for that. But to see that he could use this and also he could work on peak performance and also make an income doing this, and he could do it from wherever he is, that's a huge benefit, especially because he's young, you know, the 20-somethings are all about doing that. They want to have their life and they want to work around their life. And someone like me who was taught growing up that you just, you know, you haul ass until you get to where you want to get to, you know, that's what I was taught, and that's fine. There's a place for that as well. But I've had to relearn how to do things so that it makes sense. I mean, I talk about it with my daughter, like the next generation thinks differently and does differently. And if we don't acclimate to that, we will not be growing. You will not have the kind of momentum you're looking for. So you must start to learn how to use these tools and be able to jump from the income disclosure statement to the little graphs that we made here to show them oily tools. I don't know one single millennial. He looked at that I had this thing on my phone that you could use, and he was like, oh my God, this is it. This is great. You know, that's what he wanted to know. He needed the concreteness, not just me sitting here talking to him. He needed to see the concrete here. This is what you could use. Right? So I took him to my website, my replicatable website, just to show him the kit I wanted to show him. And then I said, and you're going to use this. And I showed him the Oily Tools app, and he was like, oh, and it like clicked. Now, I don't know why, because if you had shown me that years ago, I'd have been like, okay, then what? You know, because I'm just a different generation. But for him, it was like, oh, done, click. Does that make sense, guys? Okay. So I'm going to come off, stop screen sharing to see if you have anything in the chat, because I can't see it when I'm screen sharing. Okay. Do you have any questions? If you have questions, just unmute yourself. Let's talk about this. I want you to are you clear about strategic placement and when you would strategically place and why you would strategically place? Again, you could build to diamond. I built a diamond with mostly not strategically placing. It took me longer, you know, to do it that way. There was a time years ago when Mary told us that Mary Young told us that if we did that, that she would terminate our accounts. Okay. So it's interesting what has changed over the years, because there was a big debate about this recently in the Diamond Group, and everyone's like, who's strategically placing and who's not and whatever. And I finally chimed in like, okay, just be clear on where we were coming from though. You know, they told us, you know, I didn't do it, and I built an entirely different way without strategically placing. Which I think required way more work in the end to do, but I have a very stable organization, and she would have terminated our account. So that's what I heard, and that's what I've trained. But I do see the value in the last couple of years, just because I don't have the time per se to, you know, and I want to build up other people. I want to help you guys build up. I want to build up the organization better. I like strategically placing. I like having another leader in between me and the person that I place, so that it just works out. It's a win-win for everybody. You know what I'm saying? So I am definitely open to placing, but I think there's certain conditions that must exist in order to do that. And again, it has to be that these people are willing to make 100 PV orders every month. They're willing to take a leadership role. They're getting very clear on the tools that we're using and we have been using. And those are the only people I place under, are those people. I also don't place someone 10 levels down. Like, you have to be within usually in my first 3 levels, you know, stuff like that I've been doing to really shore up the groups. Do you guys have any questions? Oh, here we go. Is it too early to place, or should we keep them as close to us as possible? Well, it depends what you're going for, Christina. Really, it's, I don't know if you want to place from the first day, because you do want to get you want to get your 6 people out. But if you're saying, you know what, I really need to get to silver, I want to get to silver, and I know I have builders here, this is the one thing to not just, and I thought like this years ago, and I think you guys probably would as well, because it's just kind of like a beginner way of thinking. But I used to think, but I finally have a business builder coming. I don't want to put them over here, because then I'm never going to find another business builder, you know? Like, I can't tell you enough that does not happen, okay? You're really going to have a lot of people come your way, and they're going to continually come your way. So if you find that these 2 people would be really awesome working together, and you have one leg that just takes off because of it, and you have a lopsided organization, fine. It doesn't really make a difference. You're going to have more people come along. So I would place more based on that, Christina. If you have someone that comes along that you just know would work really well with this other person, it would boost up that leg, it would bring volume. You know, would you rather have people split up that do 10,000 each, or if they were together, they did 100,000? You know what I'm saying? So that's how I look at it. Like, I want people together that I think are just going to work well together. They're just going to, you know, they're just going to be good for each other. So that's how I tend to think about it. So I don't know if there's an answer to ever too early or late to play. Probably no. I mean, it depends. I do it situation by situation there. Now, if I know somebody's just going to be a product user, there's like one leg that my daughter's leg that I'm really trying to also, you know, shore up and to help build her. So even if I know they're just going to be a product user, I'll put them under her, knowing that I'm still supporting them, you know, as she's learning, but I do put them under her. Okay. Do you wait till one leg is at the point where you rank before placing on another leg? I do not do that. Okay. So Kathy, you're in a little bit different situation right now because Kathy is going to be silver by Friday. Right? So Kathy's in a little different situation now. So I know how you'd want to shore up that leg. But right now, Kathy, I would, if I were you, I'd be thinking in terms of I have to grow the next leg. If you're growing quickly, like we have another girl actually on your team who's growing very quickly. So when I looked at her organization, I'm like, even though she hit executive, which is amazing, she is on track to like explode. So I'm like, you have to really start thinking strategy right now because of how much activity is in that group. So even as an executive, we had the strategy conversation last week. Okay, does that help? I hope so. Yeah, your daughter too, exactly. So, and for you, Kathy, right, you want to shore up your daughter's leg also. So there's different reasons that come along. I just wanted you to understand the mechanisms behind it, the thinking of it, when to do it. There's going to still be times when you call me or text me and you're like, Jahan, okay, I just need to talk something out on where to place them. And that's fine, do that, you know, but I want you to understand the overall and why you would even do it. And then not be afraid to use the tools that we have. You know, we have tools that explain things like, I think it was maybe, I'm going to screen share again. I think it was maybe Janet. I'm not sure if it was you, Janet, but I know that there was some people. Oh, somehow I lost you guys. Oh, there we are. Okay. It's somebody who was saying they were uncomfortable speaking with people and I think it was Janet, but you're not the only one that's come around like over and over and over again as a topic, right? So I found for me, I was the same way in the beginning. Like you didn't know what to say. You don't want people to think that you're just trying to sell them something and, you know, that you don't have their best interest in mind. So the best advice I could give to that is have their best interest in mind. You know, don't just sell something to them and you are in business. Don't be ashamed to be a business. And this is now goes to everyone. Don't be ashamed to be in business and don't be ashamed to be a businesswoman or businessman. Do not be ashamed of that. For me, I am very upfront and honest with the people that I work with or that I'm enrolling. I always mention that there's another opportunity. I give them the opportunity to say no, just like I give them the opportunity to say yes, right? I show them the income, the disclosures. It's amazing. This always gets people. When I show them this income disclosure statement, say these are the actual numbers in Young Living. If you could make one of these monthly incomes, what would most interest you right now for your situation? Every single person answers that question. Nobody sits there and says, I don't need anything. What they usually say is, I don't know how to do it. I don't know if I'll have the time, what's involved. You know, they get nervous with themselves and the obstacles they've placed in front of themselves. But not one says, I don't want the money. Not one. You know, and for people who have said to me, well, namely my mother, who's like, money's not important to me. And that's just because she lives this life that anybody would want. She doesn't have to work and whatever. And she never has. So, you know, I say to her, well, Ma, if money's not important to you, then you should have no problem making $1 million and giving it away. So there. But that's just because of my mother. But, you know, that's a fact. I tell, you know, if you hear somebody say money's not important to me, they're full of shit. So understand there's another objection that's there. Okay. And it's our job to listen to what the objection is. I'm like, great, money's not important to you. Now, money doesn't have to be the ruler of all things. I'm not trying to say that, but making more money, it doesn't change the person. The person just, it gets magnified, you know? So if you are a good person, you're going to be magnified by having more, you know, because you're going to give more away. You're going to do more philanthropic stuff, all that stuff. If you're a bad person, that's going to get magnified when you have more money. You know what I'm saying? So the money's not, when someone says the money's the root of all evil, that's just such nonsense. Money is the root of how I feed and clothe and house my family. You know, get real on that. So that's why I tell people, don't say such nonsensical things. Like, why don't we get to what the core of going, you don't have to be a martyr with me. You know, let's really get to the core of what's going on for you. And then we could break through that, whatever this obstacle is that might be happening. Let's break through that obstacle. Let's find out what you really want. So back to this, of all of this here, you know, of the median income, what interests you the most? Then they start talking. You see what I'm saying? I'm going to stop the share again. Okay. The world runs on money. Yes. Oh, Kim, you have joined us. Very nice. Okay. Does anybody have any questions about this? Anything we're talking about? Are you clear? But please ask the questions. These are trainings that I want you to understand. And by the way, I know people are asking for a training schedule. There is no training schedule. Okay. And there's not going to be one. You are gunning for diamond. Do you want me to lock you down at any point and say you have to be doing this and listening to that? Do not waste your time here only watching videos and only, I'm doing these, again, to help you strategize and help you train. You watch them when you can, and you better be out there working otherwise, because that's the only way this is going to happen. Watching videos is not going to get you anywhere. I'm just trying to give you the little tidbits along the way so that you could think it out and strategize it out, and so that I'm not having 50 of the same conversation, right? That's why we're doing this.
I have a structural question.
Hey, Celeste.
You want to ask a question on text, or you want me to talk?
No, go ahead, talk.
So my structural question is, like, say I have someone right now that's like, they're gung-ho about building a business, and I place people under them, and let's say a year from now their overall volume is 6,000. So they have, like, let's just say 3 legs at 2,000. But then say that person, for whatever reason, is like, you know what, I can't make my monthly orders anymore. I don't want to do this. I'm having drama in my life, whatever. And they stop ordering. Now, those 3 people underneath them, do they now become separate?
Yes.
For me, they're now my level 1s at 2,000.
Correct. It'll compress. Even if she doesn't drop off, it will compress.
So you can technically lose a leg that's giving you rank.
Yes.
Still having, like, separate legs at less.
Yes, and that's why I tell people you have to be really clear about what you want to do and get them into action and get them an income right away. Then, if that's going to be the case, help them do that. You can't do it for them, but you want to help them do that, because then that gives them some stability, and they're not going to want to. At the very least, even if they go and wander, because people wander, there's like squirrels all over. So even if they wander, they're at least going to make that 100 PV.
Okay. All right. I got it.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. Especially if it covers that. Especially if it covers their order. They're going to make the 100 PV.
Yeah.
I've had people come to me and say, well, I can't make the 100 PV. I said, but you make more than that in Young Living. And they said, right, I have to use it for other things. I'm like, so don't.
Yeah. No.
Otherwise you will stop getting the check. Yeah. Like, come on, common sense this a little bit. You know what I mean? Yeah. So sometimes people need a little prompting that way also. Or if they say I need more money, so what do you need, an extra $100 a month? Let's work on an extra $100 a month.
Right. Yeah. I think I get a lot of issues with people where, like, they want to see the check now. So you'll sit there and you say, no, I promise you, if you make this.
Do you know why? Do you know why they do that? I'm glad you brought that up. Do you know why people do that? Because they're still employees. That's a mindset thing.
Yeah.
Employees think like that. Employees think about instant gratification, and they think about trading time for dollars. So once again, if you want to get into a diamond mindset, if you want to get into any success mindset at all, losing weight, do you lose weight? Say, you know what, I'm going to lose weight. And if you don't lose 100 pounds by tomorrow, then you're like, forget it.
Right.
You ever have that expectation? I mean, come on. So we have to change people's expectations. I tell people, you're going to work your tail off for 2 years. I had somebody say to me 2 years. I said, well, what are you doing today that in 2 years from now is going to drastically change your income?
Mm-hmm.
And he was, right. It doesn't happen overnight. But 2 years is really fast. If you were to go from 0 to diamond in 2 years, diamonds make, let's say an entry-level diamond makes $15,000 a month. How many people do you know making $15,000 a month?
I don't think I know anybody.
And able to do that within a couple of years. This is what I'm saying. You need to point out to people sometimes, and this is what I mean about being bold. You sometimes have to point out to people how full of shit they are.
Yeah. Yeah.
Okay.
In some case, and you know what? My biggest problem right now is, like, I'm trying to build a leg for my mother, but she's like, I could show her my checks. It's like, it just doesn't, it's so employee mindset. It's just driving me nuts. I'm like,
my mother still has no idea how I make money. No clue. My mother has no idea how I make money. My brother says he can't do this because he needs to do a real job.
Oh my God.
The only person, my in-laws think we are the craziest, wacky snake oil salesman, like, You know, they don't believe in anything that has to do with health at all. They don't believe your lifestyle contributes to disease. They think everything is happenstance. It's the most bizarre thinking ever. They're obviously one extreme. You know, my family is not behind. So don't even think you need your family behind you to do something like this. Right. My mother, who gets a check, who I built an organization, my mother does 280,000 in volume every month, and said to me today, oh, I just appreciate that I'm able to get something so I could live. I'm like, I can't even listen to you, Ma, you know. But am I trying to convince my mother? No, I really don't care what my mother thinks, you know. And you got to get to that point too. It's like, you don't care what your friends think, because I'll tell you something else. And for those of you who are already scared, I'm going to scare you more. Okay, ready? Your circle is going to change. It is. Yes. Because where you're at right now is as a result of what you're surrounded by. It's not someone else's fault. Don't misunderstand. I'm talking energetically, okay? Everybody's where they're at right now because everything that surrounds you supports you to be where you're at right now. So when you want to move, okay, when you want to move out of that space and do something different, the people around you are either going to move with you, which thankfully many do, right? They're going to either move with you or they're not. And then those people will seem somewhat less interesting to you because you get into a certain mindset that says, I want to do this. I want to make a difference in this world. Not everybody wants to make a difference in this world. They don't even want to make a difference with themselves. Forget about thinking about the world, right? So not everyone wants to do that, and that's fine. But you're going to want to be around more people. You'll see. You'll want to be around more people who are in alignment with that, and it gets way more fun and exciting because then you start to think of different projects. Like my husband said, he was very funny because he caught part of the conversation last night, and this morning he was like, did you tell them how much money tell them how much money we give away and how many people we support? I was like, you must have walked in when I said that we have a Mercedes and we bought a cabana. I said, don't worry. I told them, you know, because for him, he's like, I don't want people thinking we're just buying stuff. I'm like, no. I told them already. We give away a lot of money. We do tithing. We do all of that stuff. So, you know, I let other people know that as well. Like we get more joy out of tithing with our family or, you know, giving than anything else. But I'll tell you something. It's also really enjoyable to know first was stability. That's what we did, stability. Then it was like, okay, we really want to give and give back. So we have that established. Then it was like, oh, we still have more? Let's go buy stuff. Let's make this like fun. You know, that's how we did it. Now, everyone will do it differently. I don't care how you do it. It's your money. It's your business. Do it however you want. I'm just trying to show you how to strategize it. Okay? In the end, whatever you do with your money and whatever you do with your business, that's up to you. It's fine. Does this make sense to you guys? Good? Okay, I'm going to shut it down because it's going to cut me off. I really still have not totally figured out this system, but it's giving me like less than a minute and you're out of here. So thank you for being on. I'm going to put the recording up for everybody. Please continue the conversation. I have a lot more videos and ideas and stuff just to help you move along, but do not spend all your time on these videos. Get the information, get out, and get to work. All right? That's how you're going to do it.
Thank
all
you,
right, take care.
Bye.
Take care.
Thanks.